So it's not uncommon for these old, or even the new ones, industrial sized engine lathes to have clutch lever. And before I put this on, I want to do a couple modifications. I probably should replace it because it's, 100 years old or whatever, and it's pretty beat up. So, see all the screws are loose, and this one's actually sliding around. What I didn't know is that this shaft has grease holes, and there's a bearing that rides in these cartridges. This one's fairly tight. It's a needle bearing, slips into the cast part, sits between two set collars, and provides a roller. Thought that was kind of neat. Uses these fiber washers for shims. I thought those were brass or copper at first before I cleaned them off. And then I got a good look at them and realized they're probably fiber paper or phenolic resin, or they're not bright enough to be Bakelite. But the next part here that I need to grease while I have it off is your clutch engagement. Not synchro. Synchro's in a transmission. I don't know what you'd call this. It engages with the lever on the clutch. Wedge, pilot, throwout bearing. It's not really a bearing, but throwout wedge. Yeah, kind of neat. Got another bearing collar on this side. I need to deburr the shaft because these are kind of stiff. More gasket paper, gasket washer, whatever. These cast parts actually retain it in the lathe, as well as the clutch fork that attaches to the lever. And these float, obviously because of the bearings, these float on two yokes supporting the shaft as it spins. Now, I've got the clutch locked down with the set screw. I don't want to pull it back off because it's holding a keyway in place, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm going to leave that attached to the shaft, but the pulley is free to come off. The pulley actually has two shorter style roller bearings in it. Now, if the lathe was up and running, I would go through and make sure this was round and put a nice fresh surface on the clutch. But the lathe doesn't run without this. It's kind of a catch-22. Seems like there should be a spacer, maybe a washer or something here to keep the bearings from floating around, but I don't know. I wasn't around, obviously, when this machine was built, so I couldn't tell you. I'll flip it that way. Now, the meat and potatoes of the clutch assembly is obviously the clutch friction surface. So, you can see it's got these two 3/4 circles. The friction material is actually wedged between those. And it's got an adjustment screw here. It allows you to put tension on the one side. So when this wedge comes in on the other side, it opens it up further. I line the keyway up here, deburr everything again. So you set your initial spacing on the clutch pack so the pulley will float, and then when you engage the clutch, you can see how much it moved. It bites into the hub on the pulley and engages the clutch. Disengaged, engaged. Kind of cool. Now, for the bad part. Obviously, the shaft is fairly old, between 70 and 100 years old. I haven't really done the math. You can see all the bearing wear on the shaft, here, through here, And that's because it does not have grease fittings. You kind of just squirt the grease in there and hope it makes it into the bearing. I didn't know that beforehand, and I've been running it for the last almost a year now without adding more grease. So I haven't been helping this wear any. But through the miracle of modern manufacturing and cheap processing, thanks to all the plants over in China, we can get taps, pipe taps, pretty easily here in the States. And as long as this shaft isn't super hard, I should be able to cut threads in it, or maybe even find a friction fitting to go in the end of these two, because they're actually partitioned. And I'll be able to squirt grease in with a Zerk fitting, so this will pressurize and actually make it into the bearings. So the whole reason I even considered or even started taking this apart was because the clutch had so much grease built up in here from all the years of use that it was sticking. And you can disengage the clutch and the spindle will keep spinning, which obviously is not ideal. But yeah, I'm actually not sure what those divots are for, because nothing lines up with them. I just swear I'm missing a collar or a detent or something. But yeah, so pretty short video. I hope it explains a lot about what I've found on this machine so far, at least as far as the clutch assembly goes. I'm going to dig further in and check the spindle bearings and replace the belt eventually. I'll probably just do a segmented belt instead of trying to take the headstock apart, because that is a pretty daunting task from the looks of it. And I don't want to damage these old bearings. So good news, I found my taps. So I tried it. Turns out it is soft enough to thread. So I'm going to clean these holes out and grease this bad boy up. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put this back together so I can use the lathe again. And don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're approaching 500, thankfully, finally. Well, we're not quite there, but we're getting there. Check out my other videos. I kind of switched from doing automotive specific stuff to more like a shop vlog, shop talk kind of thing. Hence the rebrand is part of it. The other part of it is that, sorry, it's hot. The merchandising is going to be a lot easier under one consolidated brand. So when I get around to making hats and shirts and all that, I only have to do one set instead of two. But if you look on the website, I already have stickers. So if you want a sticker, go buy one, please. All that goes back into the website for the more expensive parts, as well as this stuff and my truck, parts for the truck. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good 4th.